Okay, good evening to all. Today we are discussing about cloud computing, and you know that cloud computing is a very emerging technology nowadays, and mostly organization and company has been going to shift in a cloud. First of all, just we discuss about what I mean by a cloud computing. There is a two word. First is a cloud, and second meaning is a computing. First of all, what do you mean by a cloud and what do you mean by a computing? Cloud, that means it's the common word. Cloud, you know that cloud, it's a we are an Indian, that means cloud is badal. That means when you talk about the badal, that means when you talk about the cloud is not exist in anywhere. Okay. Second thing, it's the second word is a meaning is a computing. Computing means compute power. Compute power means addition, subtraction, comparison or less than or equal to whatever you know that. I think so. That means these are the meaning of a computing. That means here is a meaning of a cloud computing. That means compute power. That means we can access the resources from all over the geographical world from anywhere. I mean to say there is no need to establish any server, no need to purchase any software or any license software or any no need of capital expenditure, no need. Here is the meaning. Suppose a very common example. Suppose you are going to establish one small company or a big company. What will be required there? Will be required, first of all, it's the building will be required. Second thing, what will be required? That means infrastructure. Infrastructure means server, like a computer, like a switches, like a manpower, security, cooling system, and software. Software, that means operating system and database management system, language or security software and whatever. That means suppose you are going to, already I discussed going to establish in company. Okay, fine. Right now, suppose you establish to the company and suppose 6 months and 1 month your company has been growing and day by day. But suppose after the 6 months, suppose in your company project you did not become, then what will be? That means whatever we have expended, capital expended, that means will be a stuck. That means will be a loss. Cloud computing is telling you access the resources, whatever you need, and pay as you go basis. Pay as you go basis, I mean, as a electricity bill, as a mobile bill, or as a water bill, and whatever will be accordingly, you can pay the bill of a cloud. That means, suppose we use a small server, you pay accordingly. Suppose you use a medium server, you pay accordingly. Suppose you use a large server, means you can scale up and down accordingly to the use and pay as on basis. Okay, no need to purchase, no need to establish, no need to means purchase a building or land or different things. That means you can be used in that means online. Online, I mean you use whatever your requirement. Okay. Now these are the basic definition of a cloud. And second thing, when you talk about the cloud, nowadays there is a different type of company. Different companies are providing a cloud technology. Provide the cloud computing resources from different companies. But nowadays it's a very popular, like you know that Amazon, it's a very popular in the world. Those he is providing a cloud resources to the client. Okay. Now, when you talk about the cloud, there is a lots of advantage. Okay. The first advantage, like you talk about the traditional capital expenses and variable expenses. What do you mean traditional capital expenses and variable expenses? I mean in a traditional. What was in traditional, and suppose nowadays also lots of company has been using traditional. I mean, you have to suppose you are going to establish one a business, that will we have to purchase a building and server and number of computers and number of software, licensed software, security system, cooling system, I mean AC I mean different type of things we have to purchase. But variable expenses, that means your expenses, your capital, your money, that means you can vary. I mean here your suppose your requirement is today is a requirement like a four high configuration server we can use. After a 10 days, suppose will be require low configuration of a server and one server we can use. That means your requirement can be a vary and you pay accordingly to the use. Second thing, when you talk about another cloud, there is a two types of word in a cloud technology. First is types of services. In a cloud technology, there are three types of services the cloud is providing. First is a infrastructure as a service, second is a platform as a service, and third is a software as a service. There are three types of service they are providing. Okay, first when you talk about the infrastructure as a service, as a name suggests, infrastructure. What do you mean by here is a infrastructure? Infrastructure means hardware part of a server, hardware part of a computer we can use as a software. It's a very magical word. That means hardware part. How will you use the hardware part as a software? I mean, like suppose you know that like a RAM. RAM is not in software. RAM is as a hardware. But in a cloud technology, we can use RAM or microprocessor or a hard disk, and all these things you can use as a software. These are the infrastructure as a service. Okay. Second thing, platform as a service. These are the one type of service. These are the infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service means, again I am explaining, infrastructure as a service, that means infrastructure of your server. Infrastructure in infrastructure like a RAM, like a processor, configuration of a processor, like a hardware part, and different things is in infrastructure as a service. Now second is a platform as a service. What do you mean by a platform as a service? As the name suggests, platform as a service, that means they provide a platform. Now suppose, like an example, suppose you develop a software, suppose you have developed, or suppose you are going to develop a software in a Python, or suppose you are going to develop in a Java. What will be required? Definitely, okay fine, Java and Python is a open source. And definitely we have to need to deploy it. Okay, but in a cloud technology, there is a platform as a service. Platform as a service, that means they provide a platform where we can develop a software as well as we can deploy it. There is a different type of technology they provide, like a Python, like a JDK Java, like a .NET technology, or different technology they provided. These are the platform as a service. Third is a software as a service. As the name suggests, software as a service, SaaS, these are the software as a service. Software service, as the name suggests, software. They provide also a software. Like example in a software, like a very common example is a software like a email system. In a cloud technology, they provide the emailing system. Emailing system, that means just you download or use the email facility like a software as a service, and you can access the facilities and you can use the facilities of a software as a service. Now these are the three types of, I explained, there is a three types of services which cloud is provided, and another is a deployment model. Deployment model called cloud provide three types of